Hello everyone, I just wanted to jump on here this morning, give my thoughts about the Supreme Court confirmation hearings this week of Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson, the first African American female to be nominated to the Supreme Court. What an honor for her. And what a privilege she has as a representative of the African American community, and particularly for women in this country of color. At the same time, I followed the confirmation hearings this week, listened to a lot of the questions and that she was given and her answers. Overall, I thought she did very well. Of course, the Democrats are hypocrites. They are going to do their dead level best to make sure she's seated no matter what. They would not afford Amy Coney Barrett or Judge Kavanaugh the same courtesies that they afforded Judge Jackson this week. But the Republicans are no better, and certainly there was a lot of vying for camera time this week. Who could be the top dog in bringing down the Biden nominee by asking questions, by maybe perhaps unfairly representing her legacy and her judicial decisions, her jurisprudence, particularly when it came to matters of sentencing those who were convicted of possession of child pornography, sex offenders. This means something to me because I am a survivor of sexual abuse. It means something to me because Judge Jackson handled cases of people that involved people who possessed child pornography. This means something to me because as an abuse victim, my pictures were taken. Photographs of my body were taken by my last abuser. They were held in his collection that he had. That was before the internet, and I thank God to this day that it was before the internet, that my pictures were not broadcast across the world for other perverted men to download and to use. It's bad enough for me to know that he had them in his collection, and when law enforcement finally was tipped off and I was interviewed in high school about what had happened to me, they were able to go in and seize all the pictures that he possessed, all his journal entries, all of his drawings, and no doubt mine were in the trove of things that they found. So I think I have a vested interest in what happened this week. I don't necessarily think Republicans were fair to Judge Jackson. Certainly I think she did a stellar job of actually defending her judicial record. We can disagree on the amount of time she should have sentenced offenders to. We can disagree on that. I understand that law and sentencing is a very difficult thing. Judges don't always get it right. I think her heart was in the right place. I think she did a very good job this week of expressing her revulsion for the crimes that she had to witness through the videos and the pictures and the reports that she was given, and she had to wade through a lot, and she had to consider Congress's instructions to federal judges on how they should sentence. So many things at play. She made a good point, I think, where she said the prison sentence is only one aspect of sentencing. These people who are convicted of possession of child pornography are also, they impose heavy restrictions on them even after their release. They have to go on sex offender registries. They are restricted on the use of computers for decades. So it's not just the prison sentence itself. Republicans did make some points, I think, that were fair, that there is a recidivism rate that should have been taken into consideration. All these things, there's truth on both sides of that issue. But I guess what bothers me more than anything is when she was asked by Senator Blackburn a very basic question, a very relevant question for today and the types of things we're dealing with today, about the definition of what a woman is. Could she define or give a definition for woman? Judge Jackson said, no, she couldn't, because she's not a biologist. Okay. Laying aside the politics and one's liberal views or conservative views on the issue of gender, which is a very relevant topic in today's society, laying those things aside, it astounds me that she used that argument that she's not a biologist, so she could not define what a woman is. She had been more honest if she had said, well, biologically, a woman is a female, a biological female. But psychologically, that could be something different for people. That would be more in line with the truth of her views as a liberal, on the liberal political end of the spectrum. To say that she can't define it, she doesn't know what a woman is in that context is disingenuous, and it also is a smack in the face of all these cases that she has sentenced people on, cases, the gender of children in the pictures and in the videos that she was sentencing people for possessing. The cases themselves would say that they were juvenile females or juvenile males. Judge Jackson is a Harvard educated judge. She has sentenced multitudes of people for possession of child pornography, which plainly identifies the gender of the child that was abused or videoed or photographed. She knows what gender is. She certainly knows that. She knows it. And for her to act like she could not define what a woman is because it's not politically expedient for her to do so, I think is very, very troubling. It's very offensive to me as a survivor of sexual abuse that a person nominated to fill the highest court in the land will not speak biological truth. Now, I understand that there may be concerns that if she used the definition of a biological female, that might tip her hand on how she would rule on any transgender issues that come before the court. And I would argue that is also false. That's false. It's as false as the answer she gave to Senator Blackburn. She could have said, biologically, a woman is a female, one who is female biologically. However, people's biology doesn't always line up with the way they feel about themselves. She could have done that, or she could have just said, like she did with the case where when one senator asked her, when does life begin? She answered, she said, of course she's not going to tip her hand about abortion, but she said, I have personal and religious views on that subject, but I try to lay them aside when it comes to interpreting law. Okay? She could have done that on the subject of what a woman was. She could have said, Senator, I have personal views on that, I have religious views, but because there could be cases coming before the court related to this, I don't feel like it is proper for me to express them at this time, or I don't feel like it is proper for me to give an opinion on that, or to express my personal opinion on this. She could have done that. She didn't. She said she was not a biologist, so she couldn't answer the question. And like I said, to me, that's a slap towards all those children out there whose genders were made known in the cases that she dealt with as a judge. And I think it is a discredit to Judge Jackson that she did that. She's obviously a very accomplished woman. She's qualified by her experience to be on the Supreme Court, no doubt about it. But I fear for the future of our country, and I fear for the future of children that are growing up confused because of the abuse that they've endured. Children whose pictures or videos she may have had to watch in determining sentences for cases, and executing judgment. Like, those children, many of them will grow up confused, and they will have a person on the court that watched their images, that saw their images, that does not know or would not say what a woman is, what gender is. It's a very, very serious time that we're living in. I wish Judge Jackson well. I'm on a bumpy road here. I think she will be a beacon of hope for many people in attaining this position. She will be sworn in. I don't see how, the Republicans can stop her nomination from going through. It's a great honor for her, and I don't begrudge her that honor. But in that one answer, she has proven to people that she is a sycophant of the leftist viewpoint. And when people can't answer basic biological truth, then how are they going to rule on other weighty matters that come before them? There's a great divide in our country, and it's one thing to have compassion on people who experience gender dysphoria. It's quite another thing to further their dysphoria by refusing to acknowledge simple, basic truth. And I just wanted to say that this morning, get that off my chest. Again, as a survivor of sexual abuse, as a man who had his pictures taken of his body when he was a young person, when he was a boy, to hear her say these things about how she didn't know, she couldn't define what a woman was, that just blows my mind. God have mercy on the court and have mercy on our country.